Welcome to the IcyData podcast. Today is April 4th, 2026. We got with me Lang, Mike, and Keep, our Hockey Power Rankers, and today we'll be discussing the current playoff picture, Hart Trophy, and what our potential rankings would look like come Monday. And if we get around to it, a little bit extra at the end regarding Ovechkin.
Yeah, just start things off a little bit. Obviously, we talked about before how this started from a Reddit-based Hockey Power Rankings group, and Keep here is actually the regional organizer before me. So if you want to go say hi and just sort of say anything about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Keep. I started this version of our Hockey Power Rankings nearly a decade ago, and it started with just a question on our hockey being like, where are the power rankings? And then it kind of evolved from there. Lang reached out and said, I can build a website, and he built that in probably I think it was just a few days. And
I remember that. And that was before vibe coding was a thing. I was burning midnight oil, man.
Yeah.
Come on, then why is V2 taking so long? Come on.
And yeah, we just kind of threw a group together and started just doing it, and it's kind of grown and evolved over the years. I stepped back almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And handed the reins over to Mike here. He's been doing an excellent job, and
thank you.
It's been really cool to see how things have grown. How the community's grown. So I definitely feel like I left the rankings in good hands.
Thank you. Yeah, one of my favorite things about it is the fact that this group has grown to the point where there's been numerous of us that have met up in person. Like me and Dee have met each other in person twice now. At two different games, and I've met up with people over in Philly where there was 5 or 6 of us. I think it was 5 of us all together in one spot. We're watching a Bruins game on a TV, drinking beers, and just sort of talking about things. Just because happened, a bunch of us were all going to the same tabletop gaming convention, and a few people live nearby. Anyway, back over to things because we're talking about it now. I don't know where you placed it, D, but why don't we talk about the rankings for last week first? Just because it goes over nicely. So I'm going to put it up on screen now. Obviously, you guys can't see it, but if you go to the most recent rankings, you'll see the rankings for week 22. The somehow Trotz returned edition. Trotz. So what do we think about this? Sorry?
I think you misspelled torts as well.
I just copy and paste it for whoever gave the suggestion. Someone gave it, and I just copied it letter for letter.
Yeah. You spelled torts like trots.
Yeah.
The O and the R.
Love the two of them smashed together.
And so it's not. Maybe I'm not the only dyslexic person in part of the group. Give them a bit of a break. Anyway, so we started with the top 3 teams, and this was the Avalanche 1, Carolina Hurricanes number 2, and Buffalo Sabres number 3. Do we still feel like that's the consensus for the top 3 right now?
Probably Buffalo drops off.
Buffalo.
Yeah, they have lost a few games.
Yeah, I'd put Tampa in that 3rd spot. Yeah.
No, what does the Lightning ranker think about that? Do you think that they deserve to be in the top 3?
I think that's fine. Tampa actually has a really good last 10 record. They've been turning it on at the right time. I wouldn't say they're facing the most competitive teams in the last little while. They had a Western a Western road trip, and that's the Canucks, that's the Kraken, that's Oilers. Oilers been better, but at that point they were kind of a disappointment. So yeah, they've been cruising, and they're just 2 points away from clinching a playoff spot. They might actually clinch a playoff spot by the time this pod is done certain
Ooh.
teams don't get their act together and actually want to play for the final playoff spot at this point.
The Lightning have been playing today?
Yes, they
Lightning
play the
play,
Bruins.
yeah, tonight. But
Okay.
Detroit and Ottawa are playing right now.
Ooh, okay.
Not against each other. Detroit's playing the
No.
Rangers and
And
Ottawa's-
losing, unfortunately. I need them to come back and beat the Regs no matter what. Oh, I would so love when I go down to MSG later today, because I'm going down for the Sirens game at MSG. I'd so much love to see. I would so much love to see sad Regs fans outside. Because well, they're more annoying when they're happy. It does bring up the question though. You want to fight a sad Regs fan or a happy Regs fan? I feel like you'd probably have less of them to fight if it was a sad Regs fan.
Well,
Less
One's more
motivated.
drunk.
I don't
hold
know.
on. Hold on. There's a moment I think in the playoffs a few years back. I think it was the Rangers and Lightning where a Rangers fan was really upset and sucker punched a Lightning fan, if I recall correctly.
That is true, but that was an individual fan. I'm talking about them being happy and on a mob together, and there's multiple of them versus a single individual. Yeah,
Not multiple.
but if they swarm, if they go after you, if they attack you,
Just stay out of the way.
that's a good way to do it.
Let's look at the playoff picture.
Sure.
We got Tampa, Buffalo, Montreal competing in the Atlantic. I'm shocked Montreal is 2 points behind Buffalo and Tampa.
Really,
just
with how
did not
Caulfield's
get-
doing?
Okay.
Even with Caulfield, their big issue was goaltending, and now Dobish is just like we're going to Dobish full time. He's just turned it on.
That's an A-OK.
Yeah, you're good with that, Lang. You're good with the Canadians.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good with them.
I thought-
I'm good with them being good because that
is it
just
not a
shines a light at how inept the Maple Leafs are. And
Aren't you totally surprised? Didn't see it coming?
Yeah, did you see it
now I
coming?
know what you're. No, I'm absolutely not surprised. I think actually, if you go back like 3 or 4 years in my comment history, I actually say that Caulfield is guaranteed to be a 40-goal scorer in this league. Guaranteed.
I think I remember you making that case a few years ago within the Discord.
Yep, guaranteed. And here we are. Called it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he did light it up in his first playoffs. So
He was strong with that.
Yeah, it kind of just seemed like it was inevitable, and he's just a tick away from being at 50. So yeah, just a really incredible player.
And I love that he's wearing Johnny Gaudreau's 13 because Johnny Gaudreau paved the way for smaller players.
Yeah, playing in front of their head coach, who also did a lot of that legwork too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Already said
talk about
the
legs.
original.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a really surprising coaching hire, but it just sort of seemed to have made sense. Not like it seemed like he's done a perfect job there in Montreal, but it'd be hard for a coach really to do a perfect job anyway. But
Yeah,
it seems like he's
AAA to straight to the NHL.
Yeah. Just because like the GM's son was playing on his team, and he liked the way he was getting coached.
I mean,
There's a possibility Montreal could jump over Buffalo and Tampa. They play a home and home this weekend with the Devils.
Yeah, I was seeing that the Habs are almost certainly going to beat the Devils. That's if the Devils just seem like it's a shot. They're all their wills is gone.
As a Caps fan, Thursday night proved otherwise.
True.
Yeah, that was not a good game for the Caps. Although I also think that they've run Thompson into the ground at this point.
Yeah, I didn't want to look at anything else hockey related on Thursday.
After you guys can play Thursday. You guys lost.
Yeah.
Lost to the Flyers yesterday.
Yeah. Just had zero had zero interest.
So with I guess we can like just start in the Atlantic with this playoff picture. So Sabres, Canadians first round. Who we picking?
Sabres.
I don't even know. I don't even know if they're gonna go head-to-head.
Like that could be the hardest matchup of the entire playoffs to pick right there. Sabres versus Habs.
I would lean Montreal. Montreal had a taste last season. I think that does mean something. They just they understand what playoff hockey is about. They know a little bit how to play it. They're coming on strong. And the one thing I would say with both these teams is goaltending really hasn't been their strength all season. Montreal is starting to find something with Dobish, and that could be the entire difference maker.
I think Buffalo's goaltending is much stronger. Like they started off the year with their goaltending being shit, yeah, but the whole team was playing pretty shit to start the year. But then there was a stat that I saw. Granted, we're going like a month ago or something like that. I think that leading into the Olympic break. I think that leading into the Olympic break was that Lyon was the best goalie by far in the entire league from like December 1st to the Olympic break.
So this isn't the first time Lyon's done this, though. He actually did it in Florida.
Yep.
Just before, I think Florida went to their first Stanley Cup final, and Bob took over during that run, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So again, I don't know if Lyon's going to be that person who's really able to step up, in the big moments. I'd have some questions around that because it really did not go well in Florida. Yeah. And then Luukkonen is just kind of, he's been up and down his entire career. This year is a bit up, but again, just going to playoff hockey, you just don't know what you're going to get out of your goaltending. And like I said, Dobish, last year, I believe, got a little bit of taste of playoff hockey, and that, again, I think just the way he's playing, the way, Buffalo's been playing lately, I think Montreal just seems like the stronger team.
I dig it.
I would argue that Montreal ends up with the higher seed. They're the number 2
possible.
Seed. Buffalo ends up being
only 2 points differ right now. So depending on how the games go today, and that could be swapped around.
Well, also on Monday, Buffalo and Tampa go head to head.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then later next week, on the 9th, Montreal and Tampa go head to head. But Buffalo, they only have 6 games left. A couple of cakewalks, but I just don't feel very strongly that they are going to be able to keep that 2 seed because you're starting to see them falter.
To play devil's advocate, okay, I really loved how the Sabres responded to that game against the Lightning. What does Elliot Friedman like to say? Are you a team or are you a club? Okay, and that proved to me that the Sabres are a team. Okay, they're a team. They look after each other, and that was probably the first time that they felt what that playoff hockey vibe feels like, and they responded appropriately. I like the pickups that they made up at the deadline, and I think that's going to be one of the better series to watch in the first round. Yeah, even the best series to watch in the first round.
That's just sort of what I was saying earlier. Like, it could be the toughest matchup to pick of the entire playoffs. Could be right there with that matchup.
There's a Western Conference matchup that I would argue would be a better series, but we'll get to that.
Sure.
Looking at the Metro, Carolina obviously going to win the division, and then they're 10 points up on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has 6 games left.
Yeah, it's a lock.
Yeah.
Islanders, 89 points. They're not catching Carolina.
Yep.
There's a huge log jam in the Metro. Pittsburgh at 92, Isles at 89, Sens at 88. Jackets at 88, Flyers at 88, and my lowly Capitals at 85. Low in that game against the Devils.
They're not dead yet. They're not dead yet.
I mean, their cap is 97 points, so it's hard. I mean,
it seems like almost none of these teams want that final spot for every reason the way they're playing lately.
My teams like to give me pain. I mean, lifelong Islanders fan of the Sirens ever since the first year of the PWHL. And yeah, I finally get tickets to go over to the FCY NYPD hockey game, and it's the first to see it in person, and it's the first time in 10 years that the fire department loses.
No.
I agree. Your life sucks.
Going back to the Metro and the Wild Card, there's just so many crossover games. Like the Islanders are playing Carolina today.
Yeah.
Playing the Rangers right now. After playing Buffalo tonight, I'm going to go to that game and can tell you if Buffalo is a club or a team. Tomorrow, the Bruins play the Flyers. Ottawa's playing the Hurricanes. You got.
I think Detroit drops out of the playoffs and Ottawa squeaks in.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
I mean, I have such a hard time. Like I said, all these teams are really not performing well. Probably the one team that's performing the best is Philly. That Philly
3-0 in their last 10. Yeah,
I could sneak in, but you know, like I've
I don't want to
doubts
think
the
about the
Islanders
Flyers.
making it. Like if I were to go through all these teams, I've doubts in all of them making the playoffs.
Only one team out of the Metro is going to make it this year.
Yeah, Ottawa's playing with such a banged up defensive core. Like, can they hold on? Can they squeak out these wins? You know, Islanders, they've played the most games. You know, if they lose tonight, like they only got 4 more games to do something, and all the teams behind them, you know, have at least a game in hand, if not more.
Multiple. We're the only ones that have played 77 games so far.
Yeah.
Would argue, however, that Islanders, after playing Carolina tonight, I believe the last 4 games they have are at home against Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Carolina.
Where we've played pretty shit at home recently.
Yeah, like I think the Leafs is a winnable game.
Oh, please,
I think.
man.
Yeah, I think the
Leafs need to finish
last
top 5.
those last 3 games could all be L's. Like you're looking at that last 5 games. Carolina's a tough game. Ottawa's going to be playing like heck. Montreal's been playing incredible, and then you got the Hurricanes again. Like you got, you know, you're hoping that you win, but realistically, you have only one favorable matchup of your last 5 games. The other teams might be favored more than you.
You know, of the teams that are trying to like squeak into the playoffs, obviously Philly is 7-3-0 in their last 10, but Ottawa is 6-3-1 in their last 10. I definitely see Philly pushing in and Ottawa pushing in. The one knock I've got on Philly is their goal differential is a -4. I don't feel like they are a team that could be successful in the playoffs, whereas I feel like Ottawa could do actual damage. So I would say Ottawa squeaks in.
Assuming they can get healthy, though. Like we've talked about, like you mentioned before, they're a bit banged up.
Yeah. The last 5 games, and I'm going to include the game that they're playing now. They are 1.
They're very scoring.
So you know, that's not a great record when you're like just barely hanging on to that playoff spot, the last playoff spot.
The Senators also going losing to the Wild 3-0. Granted, it is the Wild, but still.
The other argument I'd make for Ottawa is that their schedule, their last 4 games, they play. I mean, these 3 games right now, they play the Wild, they play Carolina tomorrow, they play Tampa on the 7th, and then home against Florida. You go to Long Island, that's going to be a tough game.
It's going to be an important one. Yep.
Yeah.
Detroit's also losing right now, 3-0. So
yeah, I'm not happy about that.
One in their favor.
You might have heard me mumble to myself about the Rex getting another goal.
I don't understand how the Rags are so bad at home, and then once the season's cooked, they're like, "Hey, we can turn it back on again." And
Red Wings apparently just go to power play, so maybe they can get a goal.
I mean,
Yeah,
can we
my
explain?
model's doing bad. I was predicting a Detroit and Ottawa win today, and they're getting spanked.
Can we explain
Yeah.
how Detroit is just always terrible when it comes to like the months of March and April? Like it's three different coaches. Like it just, yeah.
Keep, I can tell you one thing that I've noticed is that they have banked on goalies that are not built for the whole season. So they did Nedeljkovic, they did Lyon, and I mean Gibson he's hasn't played a full season in a long time. He's always been injured. Now it's like the 1 year he's healthy, they're like, hey, we're gonna put you out there for over 50 games. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. But, it kind of started where Larkin, he had that injury, and it always seems to start with a Larkin injury. And then they just start to have a losing streak, and they just can't get it back.
Guy's made of glass, dude.
But they'll never get rid of him. Michigan alum.
Yeah. I feel bad for him because he really hasn't had, we talk about Jeff Skinner as being like one of the most unlucky players when it comes to like playoffs. Like finally made it last year and got like a game. It was like Dylan Larkin starting to like creep up in that territory where he's just constantly the bridesmaid, just like never making the playoffs.
That quote has done wonders.
Oh yeah. Should we move on to another matchup? So like again, if the playoffs started today, we'd have Penguins, Islanders, Hurricanes, Red Wings. I feel like that's kind of an easy shoe-in for the Hurricanes, and then Lightning, Bruins, which would be a beautiful matchup.
I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I hope they're on this split Penguins as well, because I believe that history, just granted it's longer history, has shown that the Islanders can beat the Penguins and can shut them down. We got the same players shutting down the same players as before.
Yep.
I mean, sorry, go on.
Take the option to just blow up the stadium and kill both teams.
Meteor, sure.
Wow. You know this is recorded, right? Hello, FBI.
They definitely want to watch this now.
Hey,
for sure.
Cash Patel can just come a few doors down and knock on your door.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, I love UBS. Beautiful arena.
Yeah, you can go and drop that meteor on Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I mean, I do like, similar to last year, Ovi and the Caps made it, and it was kind of cool because we weren't sure if Ovi was going to get another crack at the playoffs, given how the Caps were doing, and now you have Sidney Crosby, Malkin.
Doesn't Crosby have one more year on his contract though? Like I think he's signed to next year.
He does, but again, Ovi had one more year on his contract, and here we are. Again, these teams weren't expected to make the playoffs both last year and this year, and it's kind of like this last hurrah. Like Michael Jordan's last dance type feel. That they're here. What are they actually going to do it? Can they do it? I don't think so. Maybe they win a series. That's entirely possible. But it's just cool because, for the last 20 years, those two players have, dominated, the sport of hockey. They're revered.
You can't talk about one of them without talking about the other one.
Yeah.
That's
so
true. Yep.
It's kind of like, they're both getting their last crack at glory at the Stanley Cup. And that's something like I think is really cool and something that I can kind of get on a bandwagon, so to speak. Obviously, if they face the Lightning, they're going down. But I think it's an easy story to cheer for. Is these kind of hockey superstars that have been generational, have been inspired so many young players, kids, and all that they're getting this one last shot.
Do we feel like there's been a new tandem that has sort of come to the league yet, where different teams? Because you can't say a Drysdale and McDavid are on the same team, but do you think there's been like a new tandem of players in different teams that will always be compared against each other yet, or do we feel like that tandem hasn't been drafted into the NHL yet?
Probably Macklin and unfortunately for Bedard, Macklin and Bedard.
Yeah.
Because like Bedard, I would feel like hasn't been up to what I'm sure Chicago was hoping for.
Yeah, he hasn't been. He's definitely been up there in the sort of mid superstar category, but hasn't necessarily been.
Yeah.
Well, the generational, the G word, the generational. Everyone wants to say that he would be.
I blame the NHL because the campaign they had before Bedard even stepped on the ice was ridiculous. Like it was, the expectations were sky high, and that was a hard thing for any player to try and live up to.
Kind of reminds me of what I saw for a different first overall pick for the team playing in MSG right now.
Lafreniere?
Yep. But I think that's more of their whole development system just being trash.
We can go into that another day.
Sure.
But let's finish off the playoff picture in the East. It is. There's just so many matchups against each other. Like Ottawa still has to play Tampa again. You've got the Islanders who have, like we discussed, probably the hardest schedule with the shortest runway.
And then we just get to sit there for 4 days watching everything else explode around us.
Yeah.
Don't need to do anything.
Even Washington, I'll flow tonight, Rangers tomorrow, and then Toronto back-to-back with Pittsburgh and Columbus. I mean, conceivably, they could win their last 6 games, go to the playoffs, and then, as long as it's not Carolina, I think they have a chance. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, not likely.
I'm just glad Florida's going to be eliminated. That's
hell yeah. Preach, brother, preach.
I don't know if you were on Reddit like 12 years ago for Operation Regicide, and everybody was hating on the Kings.
I was looking at KG, but I wasn't like in the middle or paying attention to it. I learned about it after it happened.
There was an entire campaign because the Kings were so good from 2012 to 2014 that everyone was rooting against the Kings, despite hey, here's the Blackhawks being 2010 to 2015, 6 times.
I was very in favor of rooting for the Kings, just for one reason alone. It should be obvious. They played against the Rags.
Oh yeah.
It's not the Rags winning a cup, which I'm eternally grateful for.
I don't know if Keep and Lang remember that time period.
I wasn't on Reddit at that time. I just remember the Kings, being incredible during that time.
I wasn't.
So I don't know if the fans got quite arrogant, and that's what led to the Regicide. You have to fill me in on that.
I joined in during Operation Regicide when it was 2014, when everyone was just like sick of the Kings. Then
2014 would be like a year before I started working on IcyData.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'm getting old. So, but yeah. God. But at the same time, there was this huge contingent of Blackhawks fans that were like, "Oh, Blackhawks, anti-Kings," and they had kind of dubbed it Operation Regicide. I know Sharks fans jumped on that too because they hated the Kings. So, and
I can't blame them
back then. They were a juggernaut during that period as well. You get reverse swept by the Kings.
Yeah, that's the most recent one as well.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of the Kings in the West,
On
we've
to
got
the
another
West.
potential Oilers Golden Knights first round matchup.
We are assuming the Oilers will. I think they'll be able to keep up just because how bad the West has been. I mean, Sharks are in a playoff spot with 79 points.
The entire Pacific wouldn't make the playoffs if they were in the East. Like,
So annoying.
it's so bad.
It's just why I made the case. The case the other day is like, in the East you have to try to make the playoffs, and you might fail. In the West you gotta you have to like try to not make the playoffs.
You fail up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Sharks are they got that last wild card spot. They're a minus 33 goal differential.
Yeah, that's
Like
that's insane.
There isn't a team worse in the East in terms of goal differential. The worst team in the East in goal differential is the Leafs at minus 32. Like,
I will
That's just-
point out.
The Sharks in the standing are the 21st team in the league.
I would like to make one point. The Capitals have the current record of worst goal differential making the playoffs in the 23-24 season with a minus 37. And they somehow got in the playoffs because everybody else ahead of them failed. Like,
so you want to keep that record? Is that what you're saying? Like, is that a point of pride?
It could be broken.
The Sharks are in the playoffs right now with 79 points. They're tied with points with the Predators and the Kings, where they're both ahead of both of them on. Both the Predators and Kings can win the 10-spot jump in the lottery right now to get the first overall pick.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. All with 79 points. And both the Predators and the Kings have played 75 games. The Sharks only played 74.
And that's the tiebreaker right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Kings basically finished their schedule with Leafs tonight.
Yeah, speaking of the Leafs, all those teams are only 2 points ahead of the Leafs.
Leafs need to fail down, get that top 5 protected pick.
yes, sir. We're gonna get the top 5. We're gonna be in top 5. We're gonna win the lottery. We're gonna walk away with Gavin McKenna. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Another toxic player that's going to cause issues for the next decade.
No, because in Canada the drinking age is 19, so it'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can drink even harder. Yeah, I think that's exactly what you want. I mean, he wasn't too happy against that loss in their functional stadium series.
Well, I
that
gotta
was a fun
say,
game.
a player that gets upset when they lose, okay, would be a breath of fresh air.
True.
Yeah, they don't even get upset when their captain gets absolutely shanked. So anything would be improved.
You know, there's just like people mainly brave. It's like, yeah, you need to make sure you stand up, and then like the next day, one of their players gets takes out, and then Brady Chuck does nothing.
Yeah.
I was so hoping to see him. It was against the Regs, I believe. I was so hoping to see him beat up a Reg.
The one thing I would like to point out is that despite the playoff seeding, Vegas could still conceivably fail their way out of the playoffs. They got a 4-game road trip coming up.
How have they been on the road anyway?
Let me pull that back up. No, they were at home against Calgary, home against Vancouver. Those are the last 2 wins. They hired Cassidy after the Caps beat them in a shootout. So they've only had 2 home games. Now they got 4 on the road: Edmonton, Vancouver.
Yeah,
Seattle,
they've been stronger over the whole season at home than on the road. On the road, they're 16, 14, and 7.
God, I hope the Leafs hire Cassidy. Get Doug Armstrong in here. Get Cassidy in here. Get a president of hockey ops.
Yeah, you need to have like 3 positions you want to fill, and you don't want them to be the same person for each.
Yeah. Probably have Armstrong as hockey ops, Cassidy as coach, and I don't really know who you bring in as GM. Maybe actually you should promote Brandon Pridham to GM, and like I'm going to assume that he thinks a lot like Kyle Dubas, and Kyle Dubas was going to lead us to the promised land if it weren't for Brendan Shanahan.
I think yesterday one of the rankers had said, "What if Chris Pronger became GM of the Leafs?"
It'd be funny. I mean, if he can do the job, I'm all for it. But
I feel like Chris Pronger, he's definitely angling for some type of job. I think he's more looking at like a president's role than anything else, given his prior experience working in the NHL head office, similar to Brendan Shanahan, where Brendan Shanahan moved over from NHL head office straight to the Leafs.
yeah.
You need to have someone that's focused just on hockey. Now, obviously, they can cover both the AHL and the NHL. But I didn't realize how many teams MLSE cover. I didn't realize they had 6 different teams technically all under them. I knew about the Raptors. I thought the Marlies might have been their own thing separately. But it's like, okay, then that's 4 teams. I didn't realize there was 2 other teams mixed in there as well.
Did you know Chris Pronger came out with a book recently?
I did. I haven't decided to go read it yet, but probably some good stuff.
I had someone summarize it for me. He said it's 175 pages. That could have been 15. It's basically a corporate motivational book.
Great.
Oh, I see where you're coming from. Keep where? Yeah, Pronger's probably angling for a front office job.
All right. So moving on from actually not moving
Let's
on.
finish the
Finish
Pacific.
Oilers and Golden Knights. Honestly, I've got zero
Utah's
confidence
gonna
in either of those teams.
Agreed.
Beat Anaheim.
Would you like bad goaltending or other bad goaltending plus the toxicity of a Carter Hart? Is he healthy yet? I can't remember.
That's Torts. Heard him and Carter were best buddies.
Yeah.
Carter didn't even play for Torts, did he? Was that?
He was in
Philly. I
Philly.
thought he did.
He was in Philly.
Yep.
It was in Philly, but I don't know if he was playing during the Torts tenure.
Carter Hart has been in Philly since 2019. Played from 2018-19 season until the Stadium Series year. Just before the Stadium Series when.
Okay, so he
know
did
what
play
happened.
1 year under
Yep.
Torts. Okay.
Because I remember talking to people with the NHL, and they had to rip down all the Carter Hart banners that they had created for the Stadium Series.
Oh God.
Ooh.
And then immediately replaced it with Drysdale. They traded for.
Right.
Oh.
Hey, they ought to get something else, someone else in there in short notice. That's still pretty impressive.
Yeah, they had what I heard was they'd got a jersey done up, Drysdale, and they were essentially put on the gear, take the photos. I think they only had a week or two for, and
Just the manufacturing turnaround for a bunch of posters and giant signs and stuff like that, and that short notice, those printer times are not short, and they're not cheap either.
so I actually do have a plotter that can print up to 36 inches wide, and the times, depending on the paper and material, can be anywhere from 2 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, depends
Wide
on
format plotter.
depends on how much stuff you're looking to print out and how big you're looking to make it.
Usually the banners for the outdoor games are 50 to 40 feet long, depending on if they're being suspended or they're going to be suspended vertically or horizontally. Horizontally, they usually do 50, and vertically is 40.
You gonna tell me you have some type of side business printing banners for the NHL now?
No, I'm an engineer, so I have to use a wide format printer.
Oh no, I understand. Just making a joke about it. The fact you know those exact specs for what the NHL use.
Now, speaking of Draisaitl,
That story I will tell at a later date.
Draisaitl's going to be back for the Oilers. I don't see a world where the Oilers don't come out of the Pacific as facing whoever comes out of the Central.
I see Utah beating Anaheim, and then Edmonton or Vegas, whoever, because I've seen Utah twice. They can score. They can absolutely outscore you. Question
Yeah,
is,
I've always liked the way they were building up before they got moved to Utah. They seemed like they were doing everything right, everything I wanted a team that I cared about to do the rebuild.
Yeah, but I did hear, who was I listening to earlier, like a podcast, that there were actually some rumors of Pete DeBoer getting hired in Utah when things weren't going well. So I thought that was interesting. It's like, well, might make playoffs, so maybe it's not as rosy as it could be in Utah. But I was just looking at the save percentages of all the goalies in that current like Pacific Division matchups, all sub 900. Like, if you like goals in your playoff series, go watch the Pacific games because there's probably going to be a ton.
Oh yeah.
It does feel like all the best goalies tend to, like, unless you're Hellebuyck, tend to be settled in the East.
And that is why I believe Utah will come out of the Pacific. We can just outscore their opponents, whoever it is. And it's not like the Oilers got better after last year.
No, don't forget though, the Ducks have a secret weapon. They have Mr. Captain Flying Elbow.
I'd go good.
No, I'm referring to a different player.
Oh, Trouba.
Trouba.
Right. So we got the flying knee and the flying elbow on the same team. It's fantastic.
And then you got Raj Johnson there to fight anyone who has anything to say afterwards once they get both ejected.
That's right.
Oh man, I miss Ross the Boss.
It's going to be a fun series. I'm not going to lie. But I expect every game to be over. It's going to be obscenely over.
Like the first
Anaheim, it'll be 5-4, 6-5, 7-4. You're going to have 2 line brawls that series at least.
Yeah, the first 2 games, maybe 3, there might not be really any fights. There'll be scrums, but not fights. And then game 4, the series will be 2-1, and there'll be just fights all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be 2-1. I think it's going to be mostly high scoring. It's one of those series that projects.
Oh no! I'm saying the series will be 2-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's so they all started to really hate each other now. They're playing game 4, and that's when all the fights start.
Yeah, I can see it.
Gudas, knees Keller, and then McBain hops over the boards, starts a fight, and then you got also their other big fighter. Sergachev might get in a fight.
I was really hoping for a Colorado Minnesota series. So the Quinn Hughes versus Cale Makar.
That'd be fun.
Version 2 Electric Boogaloo, seeing as
I just want to see the Wild win around.
I was kind of hoping if I have to choose a team to win the cup this year, I'm hoping that Minnesota is that team, because I think that's
you picked Colorado last week.
Well, yeah, I'm picking Colorado to win, but the team I'd like to win is Minnesota.
I agree with them. Very different categories. Who you think will win and who you want to win.
Exactly. I do think Colorado is probably the team that wins there.
I will tell you this. Dallas is dealing with injuries. So we might see a Minnesota-Colorado second-round matchup.
That would be fun.
Just be really, really good hockey.
Oh, no, you're not Rawberry. How do you feel about the Stars, Keith?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Rawberry is our
who almost joined us here for today as well. He was going to join from the game.
After a particular set of games, decided to rank the Lightning last for many weeks in a row.
It felt more like a season and a half.
It became a problem. I had to actually talk. I actually had to talk to him. And I said, "Hey, this is making a lot of people upset. Are you able to do something?" And so what he did, because Dallas was at least competitive, was Dallas had to always be ahead of wherever the Lightning was.
I love that.
Yeah, it was next level pettiness, but I was just I don't care. Got a cup. What are you gonna do?
Yep, exactly. I'm all there for it.
Yeah, he was the this is going more into with the private Discord stuff, but like he was the last person to not technically have joined the Discord, and then randomly one day he just shows up. It's just like, hold on, I would guess because you're the only person who I could think of who would like I directly asked him, was like, hey, we should talk a bunch in here. Which run away. That was like a month before he joined, and randomly just shows up and is like, oh, he's actually a kind of cool guy. I was wondering he was going to come and read through the history of everyone, start a fight with everyone. I'd have to kick him from the group.
Well, that's because he's what is he, Finnish or Swedish?
I don't know if he's actually Swedish, but he has an obsession with Swedish blondes.
Yeah.
He's at a Swedish hockey game right now.
Well, yeah, I think he lives in Sweden. I
No,
think that's what I remember.
No, he goes over to Sweden each year.
Oh, okay.
He does live in Texas though. Like he went over to the PWHL takeover tour that happened there. That happened in Dallas. So like
that's funny because I don't think the Stars have any Swedes.
that would
they
be
have,
fun.
Niels Lundqvist.
Okay. Yeah, name like that. He's clearly Swedish.
Iskinen, Ince, Lindell, Rantanen, all Finns. Got a big rivalry with Sweden and Finland. I wonder how. We should ask him about that. How he feels.
Figure out what side he's on.
I mean, he's in Sweden. So.
He's clearly on Sweden's side, not Finland's side. Like he said, he was the way he was going to pick a PWHL team. It was you're going to be the one with the most number of Swedes or the one with most number of blondes on it, and it was probably was going to be the same team anyway. Now, what team that is, I don't know what it would be. There's also been expansion since then, so he said that last year. Yeah, that's his categories.
Yeah, we'll say Dallas is dealing with injuries. Like they haven't been playing well lately. Minnesota hasn't been playing the most inspiring hockey, but I mean this version of Minnesota, it's the best I think it's ever been. I know there was a time during the Marion Gaborik years that they did make the Western Conference Finals, but that was playing playing Jacques Lemaire hockey, which is
are you You said the best Minnesota's ever been. So are you counting the Minnesota North Stars in that, or just the Wild?
I would just count the Wild. Like it's a new franchise, so again.
I'm just
there.
clarifying because of what you said.
Yeah, but it is deep. It's got great defense.
Now it does. At the beginning of the year it didn't.
Yeah, two goalies where one or the other could feasibly take over and just carry this team far. So I think there's a lot of hope for Minnesota and for them to kind of make some noise in the playoffs. And I get what Lang's saying about Colorado, but Colorado's been like this before. They've only done it 1 year where they haven't been a disappointment. That was the year they won the cup, but there always seems to be just some matchup, and I don't know. They perform the better team and they still get beat. So again, until I see Colorado in the Western Conference Final, I'll have a little bit of skepticism.
Just a point of clarification, Mike. Minnesota fans do not treat the Wild as...
I know they don't.
It's completely different. The way the North Stars being removed from Minnesota is considered a tragedy, a statewide tragedy.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. News just happened apparently. The Rags won their game against the Red Wings. The Buffalo Sabres have apparently now clinched the playoffs.
Oh, maybe they
yay
will.
for the Sabres. They kind of deserve it, but also I hate them.
Maybe the...
Wait. Why do you in particular hate the Sabres? Because I know about Max's boss.
Because I never like to see other Atlantic teams happy, but...
Okay, fine. That's at least reasonable. I was like, what did the Sabres do to you?
It's Toronto South anyway, so maybe I'll cheer for Buffalo in the playoffs for my East Coast team.
How quickly does the playoff picture update anyway? I wonder if that changes things.
It would update tomorrow morning.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Standings.
So go back to Minnesota, Dallas. Who do you guys? We know that's pretty much that series is locked in.
Yeah.
If
Give me Minnesota.
If the Stars are healthy, I pick the Stars.
We're not healthy.
Otherwise, I pick the Wild.
Yeah, I think
for the year.
Yeah, I think this is a 6-game series, and I'm taking Minnesota.
Love it.
You may not know this, Keith, but I had put money on Minnesota at the beginning of the year to make the Stanley Cup Finals, so I am going Minnesota.
Did you get offered a payout after they picked up Quinn Hughes?
I didn't look. I've honestly just like it's buried somewhere at the bottom of my futures.
Got it. I would have taken that and run. Anyway.
Yeah. So the Sabres are currently tied with 100 points now with the Lightning. Keep, how does it make you feel?
It just goes to show you, the Sabres, they came out of nowhere, right? No one saw it coming. I think it's really cool. Like the Sabres, again, they've been a long-suffering fan base. Like, is it 15 or 16 years that they have a playoff drought and they finally have playoff hockey?
Salmon says since 2011 was the last time.
Yeah, so that barn's going to be rocking. I think it's going to be quite entertaining.
It's like I lived up at Buffalo when I first joined the group. Like immediately, like by week 3 of that first season, moving back here to New York City, and it's Sabres fans are so desperate for anything and everything, but they're so incredibly passionate, and it's I know that that arena will be incredibly loud. KeyBank Center has always been a loud arena, regardless of however the team's doing. And
of course, like the one coach who brought them to the playoffs last time is the one coach that brings them back to the playoffs.
That's so insane to me.
I love this back there.
Granted, if Pat Quinn were still alive, rest in peace, I would pick him to coach the Leafs again in a heartbeat.
Well, I think a lot of teams, about a lot of their famous coaches, can say the same thing. I mean,
yep,
it's that one return game that Al Arbor had back took a team that looked like garbage, and they started to look like something just from getting to talk to them. All the players saw, I was like, they've never been coached like that in their life. They never had that type of thing. There's just the aura about him, just being there and getting involved and talking to the players, just got them playing better.
Yep. Okay, so
hold on. Let me finish the West. So who is going to have a vacation in Colorado? It's a wild card too. Are the Sharks going to vacation in Colorado? Is it going to be the Preds, who are up and coming? They're starting to claw their way in. The Jets are on a heater.
I think Preds would be a bit more entertaining than the Sharks, because the Sharks will either do really well or fall flat.
Sharks are on a bit of a downturn at the moment.
Exactly.
They won. Haven't they won 4 in a row now?
Yeah, they won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Macklin is putting that team on his back, except for the last game he didn't even get a point. But
despite winning 4 in a row, they're 4-5-1 in their last 10. If
play the Predators tonight at home,
that's must-watch hockey if you're a fan base of either team. And honestly, if you're a fan base in Colorado.
Hold on, Len, I just want to point out, I believe the Preds are on a 13-game winning streak against the Sharks.
Oof.
That's some big numbers right there.
It might be 14.
Stamkos hat trick.
Stamkos hat trick.
Yeah.
It's possible. He's been playing well.
Yeah, any team that makes that last spot it's done in 4 games or 5 games for sure. I think of the... Gosh, do I go as far down as St. Louis include them? No, probably not. I think if there was a team to probably give Colorado the most difficult matchup, I want to say it would be the Kings, as terrible as they have been. I think, just the center depth of the Kings is better. I think they just, have just a slightly better roster, even though it has been performing, that maybe they finally step up and become something. The Nashville would be next, and then the Sharks, last. I think if it's the Sharks, I think that might be an easy, clean sweep for Colorado.
Yep.
I
Yep.
just want to correct myself.
Although
Have a
you know,
14-game win streak against the Sharks.
yeah. Although like Colorado looks like this juggernaut, and then a team squeaks into that 8th spot, and I don't know. I'm just saying, I know some history of a team squeaking into the 8th spot and getting swept. So
I will also point out Colorado is fully healthy, and their blue line looks phenomenal after they dipped out Gerard for Kulak, which I think was a losing trade, with Kulak being Kulak, who since his Vancouver Giants days. Physical, strong defenseman on the puck.
I think as long as Landeskog is healthy, that Colorado team is nigh unstoppable. Despite like McKinnon obviously being, and Makar being like the players that make that team deadly in terms of goal scoring, it is Landeskog that stirs that drink, in my opinion.
I would also like to point out. I'd also like to point out they did trade for Kadri. They are.
Yeah, they are absolutely.
Stacked.
Yep.
That center depth. That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, they have so many centers, like it is ridiculous.
It's why, even though they picked up a center in Nelson last season, it's why they were perfectly willing to give up Callum Ritchie to get a more veteran center.
Well, they tried the Middlestat experiment. It didn't work. They're like, nah, we want to win a cup. We're moving on from Middlestat. We're going to pick up Brock. And then Audrey wanted out of Calgary, and they're like, okay, send them back to Colorado.
Any other teams we still haven't talked about yet with the playoffs? I think we've talked about all of them pretty much.
There's one more left, and that is the Ducks versus the Mammoth, I think.
We touched on it a bit, but I don't think maybe we might not have said, but I don't think we said who we would pick for each team.
I mean, it was flying elbow and flying knee versus Utah, so I took Utah.
I also would pick Utah for that.
Same.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that was easy. We're all not going to be wrong.
A lot of good pieces on that team. In fact, not to make this about the Leafs, but if the Leafs were to make a trade to get rid of Matthews and Nylander, I would hope we'd be talking to Utah.
That's where the rumor was pointing out was like with the Sharks, the Ducks, and the Mammoth, where the three teams people were projecting over the past like week or two that Matthews would get traded to, if he gets traded this offseason, which is what people are saying is going to happen.
I did the T-Birds training camp a few years ago where I got to see Tijigin play, and even when he was that young at that point, I watched him go to the net against guys that were a foot taller than him and bowl through them like they weren't there. I want Tijigin in the blue and white, something fierce. And I'm more than happy to give up Matthews to do it.
All right.
Now we can talk about prospects another time.
That'd be something good to talk about in the after the postseason.
Yeah.
All right.
Next item on our queue, Lang has posted his Hart Trophy odds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
I've been working on that for a while, but I finally got the finishing touches done this morning for this pod. Now, the initial version is not including goalies and defensemen. But I also don't feel like there is a goalie or defenseman right now that really has like the strongest case at the moment.
I can see that for right now.
To even model, like, there's only been in the last, 2 decades, there's only been 2 Hart winners that were goalies, and that was Hellebuck and Price.
Yep.
Like, how do you...
No, Theodore.
Oh yeah,
I think that was over 2 decades ago, though.
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah.
that over 2
Wow.
decades?
Yeah, we're old. But yeah, like again, it's such an aberration that like I don't know if you can really accurately model it. Like it's just the goalie just is
It's
either
just
heads above everything else that a goalie is, or they're just not even relevant for Hart Trophy tracking.
here's a thought. Here's a thought line for something, an option you could do. We talked earlier about maybe having the top candidate from each team slash the top 50 overall players. What if you just like in addition to that through like the top 3 most impactful goalies?
Yeah, I could do something like that. Though, so typically the Vezina, okay, has been the goalie that has the highest goals saved above average. Okay, I think there's like maybe 1 year where the number 1 goalie in my calculation of that metric didn't win, and it was the guy in second place. So right now, for me, like if I were to choose a goalie to be most impactful for his team, hilariously, it's Shesterkin.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Despite the fact that that team is doing so poorly, he is so head and shoulders above everybody else. Like, he is the only person on that team that is worth the money that they're being paid.
Yeah, and he just signed a new contract like a year or 2 ago for like 7 years.
Yep. And for me, if you know there wasn't that bias toward teams that are making the playoffs, Igor Shesterkin would be that Hart Trophy goaltender for me. His GSAA is almost at 26 goals above an average goaltender, and the next closest are Swayman at just under 23, and then Vasilevsky at just over 22. And then for 4 and 5, we've got Sorokin in Long Island and Logan Thompson in Washington. But like the difference between 1 and 5 is big. Even at a losing record, Shesterkin deserves the Vezina at the very least. And I would not bat an eye if somebody voted for Shesterkin for MVP.
Yeah, I could definitely concede that, but I feel like the people who vote for these type of things are only going to vote MVP for teams that make the playoffs and not make the playoffs.
That is absolutely correct.
I would like to ask the question: how bad would the Rangers be if Shesterkin did not play?
So, well, again, 26 goals above average. Okay, so let's just look at what the Rangers' goal differential is right now, and it is -19. Okay, so let's put this into perspective. The worst team right now is Chicago at -55. Okay, and then the worst teams in the West. Okay, Vancouver's at -91. Calgary at -46. So if you add another 26 goals on an average goalie in New York, okay, you're looking at a -35, which puts them at in the same breath as the Blues, the same breath as the San Jose Sharks, which while San Jose is in a playoff spot, they have a -33.
Yeah, that's not good, and that won't cut it. That would put them literally the worst team in the league. No questions about it. Though I already think they're that to begin with, but that's an entirely different thing. I pulled up Igor's page on IcyData. I'm showing that right now. Though I see some things like the goalie analytics visualization is not working yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's showing all the shot type stuff not over top of the crease, which is funny.
Yeah, there's something weird going on there. I'll have to figure that out.
It's all good, and I know it's all a work in progress.
Yeah, but yeah, the team would be in absolute, even bigger catastrophic ruin than they are now.
But they wouldn't be Vancouver bad.
But they would not be Vancouver bad, correct?
I don't know. They very well might. I mean, think about how bad they were when he was injured this season. They didn't win. I think they won 1 game out of like something like 14 games.
Yeah, would not surprise me in the least.
That sounds like Vancouver bad.
I think that sounds worse than Vancouver.
No,
Yeah.
they've had a run where they won. Let's see,
Hey, Vancouver beat
One
Colorado
game.
recently.
that was a fluke. That was a fluke. Yeah, Vancouver had a run where they won 2 games in a span of 22 games.
Oof.
Let's see. So the game log for oh no, but this must be the game log for showing for goalies is just showing the team's record, not showing which games they actually played. Okay, yeah, time of ice. Okay, there we go. He's played every single game except for one showing in your game logs right now. His time of ice for a lot of these games are like 47 minutes, 40 minutes. Like he's like constantly maybe going in relief of other goalies. I'm not sure, but yeah. So games that he actually has minutes in: loss against Montreal, win against New Jersey, win against Florida, loss to Toronto, loss versus Ottawa. Oh no, that's a game he didn't play. Ignore the Ottawa one. Loss versus Blue Jackets, loss to the Kings, win over Minnesota, win over Winnipeg, and a win over Philly. So it's even with him there, they're still losing a fair bit.
Yep.
And like he's like he's like coming in. He must be like coming in relief for some of these. It's like the game against Winnipeg, he has 40 minutes played, exactly 40 minutes played. Same thing for the win against Florida, exactly 40 minutes played.
Yeah, it should be 60. The game against Winnipeg should be 60. The game against
I think.
Florida,
Okay.
60.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
There.
I've got a bug where I'm trying to handle the situation where the NHL updates a team's stats or a player
Gotcha.
stats after the fact, like award a goal or an assist after the fact, and so that might be
Okay.
affecting.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Parsing through those scripts is a pain when they go back and update, because then you're like, what?
I need to have like a copy and paste, like explaining how the NHL API is like a pile of shit, because it feels like every other ranking we post, someone's like, hey, this team's record's wrong. It's like, I know it's most likely wrong. I would like it not to be wrong, but sometimes there's only so much we can do.
Yeah,
It's actually been interesting, because I was parsing through it. ESPN's NHL stats are updating faster than the NHL's.
yeah, they have their own proprietary.
Yeah, they're big enough to make their own thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I was looking at that the other day. I'm like, what the? ESPN, the stats are updating, but NHL's like, no. Like it looks like during the game nights there's like a 20-minute freeze.
Anyway,
I don't know why. I look at this and I'm just like, why?
just to go back over, we should go back over to the Hart Trophy. Just to mention the, because I'm showing it on screen now. The breakdown is 50% from traditional stats for Hart Tracker, 30% from advanced stats, and 20% from team impact. You can see that represented by each color on the bar. For blue for traditional, purple for advanced, and green for team impact. Lang, you want to go talk about this a little bit more in detail, or
Yeah,
do you want to leave it like that?
Basically, I was just trying to figure out what individual and team stats I can use to determine a Hart Trophy candidate, and then put weights on those to like give everybody a realistic expectation of who should be the Hart Trophy winner. So, traditional stats, goals, points, assists, advanced stats, based on like Corsi rel, so how good or bad is the team without this player, and then a team impact, so like what percentage of their goals is attributed, what percentage of the team's goals is attributed to this player. So for the tracker right now, it's got Kucherov on top. He scores 44.5% of the team's goals, which is pretty big.
Contributes
Yep.
44.5%.
Yep. He's got 122 points on the year, 42 goals on the year, and his Corsi rel is a positive 15, which is pretty fantastic. Having said all that, it gives Kucherov the highest score, followed very closely by McKinnon and McDavid. And then there's a slight gap to Macklin, Celebrini, and then obviously Draisaitl's falling down the chart because he is currently injured.
Yeah. And then even then, there's still a bit more gap from Draisaitl down to Caulfield.
Yep.
And then things get a little bit more clustered together. He might, depending on how that last push leading into the playoffs go.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he can light up the Devils this weekend.
That's an easy way to get points. That does make me joking. The Devils actually, you're right. They have been playing a bit better recently. While I looked at their stats.
You do not get props for being a good team when you are eliminated.
Well, I don't think the Devils are technically eliminated yet, but they're functionally.
I mean, nobody is talking about the Devils in the playoff picture, and that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, they're 5 points behind the Capitals. We know how the Capitals are doing.
They need a hope and a prayer, and they're
hope and a prayer for next season.
That's right.
And I think mathematically they're already eliminated because you've got all these 88 point and 89 point teams playing. Well, not the Rangers. Rangers playing Ottawa once. Like, Ottawa's got games against Isles. Ottawa. Actually, hold on. Yeah, Ottawa and New York only play each other once, and that's like the only matchup against teams competing for the wild card between those two. Detroit's playing Columbus and Philly. Columbus.
Yeah, the NHL.com and their app is not saying that they're mathematically eliminated yet, but they're pretty much. No one's expecting them to want to make.
How many games do they have left? 6.
They played 75 games, so they're
not mathematically eliminated.
Yeah, not yet. Close,
right.
Not yet. Their future is definitely not in their own hands.
Do we want to look at last week's rankings?
Yeah, we showed them in the brief. We showed them on screen quickly earlier, but I can bring them back up. Let me just close.
Yeah, we can finish off the pod with that.
Sure.
Oh, there's one more item after that.
Oh, what's that?
Look in the chat, and then we'll discuss.
Okay. I got last week's rankings up on screen now. Obviously, you guys can go and find it yourselves. But like we said, like the top 3 teams for last week are Colorado, Hurricanes, Carolina, Buffalo, and then you also got the Lightning and then the Stars up there for your top 5 teams. Your hottest team last week was the Ducks. They moved up 4 points. I think they were the only team that moved up 4 points. And your coldest team was the Sharks, who went down 3 points.
And then they proceeded.
The Blues must have gone up 4 points. Yeah, the emoji things for up and down arrows and stuff like that is still bugged. Hoping that will get fixed. But yeah, the Blues also must be one of the hottest teams right now as well, because they moved 4 points and they definitely did not move down 3 points. The Oilers must have also moved down 3 points. They must be tied with the Sharks for coldest team from last week, if I have that memory right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Sharks.
No. Sorry, the Oilers went 3-0 last week. Never mind. They were a hot team, just not as hot as the Ducks.
No, I'm saying the Sharks. Because this 4-game win streak is fairly recent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. This is the previous. This is the previous rankings. Obviously, we don't know how people are going to rank things tomorrow night for going into Monday yet. But well, you all 3 of you are rankers, so tell me what you think. What teams would you move around right now?
I think Montreal gets itself maybe even top 4. Like I think Dallas, the way they're playing, is probably dropping below them. You know, I'm looking at that. You know, Islanders, I think should have a steep fall. Sorry, Mike, but
My teams like to
they
hurt
really
me.
haven't been. Yeah, they haven't been playing well this week.
Hey,
and
we'll see.
they're
We'll see about the game tonight, though. I mean, that could
pretty
change things
close.
around.
Yeah, they're pretty close to falling out of the playoff spot. So, I think Pittsburgh, at the very least, again, I'm actually quite surprised that Pittsburgh isn't ahead of them from last week's rankings. Pittsburgh should definitely be ahead of them.
Yeah, there's definitely a big delay. What it feels like within this group, like the Islanders, previous parts of the season have been like 7 points ahead of the Penguins, and the Penguins were ranked ahead of the Islanders. And there's time where like the Penguins have been ahead of the Islanders by like 4 points, and like just beat the Islanders, but yet the Islanders ahead of the Penguins. It's definitely a delay in how people see teams.
That was a game the Islanders needed to win.
Yes.
They in Long Island threw up a clunker.
Yeah. Yeah, life is pain. All right. Yeah. So any other the other big teams you think you'd move around? I mean, Nashville I think has been a bit better recently, if I remember right. We talked about that before. Utah's ranked 17 right now from last week.
I think Utah's basically in a holding pattern because they don't want to be. They're not going to catch up to Minnesota. It's just not going to happen.
I'm not saying they're going to catch up to Minnesota. They're 17th right now. They're only 2 spots ahead of the Devils.
They're firmly in the number 1 wild card spot. They don't need to. They're not really risking anything right now.
Yeah, they probably just need to win like the next 2 of their last 7 games, and they probably will be fine. But yeah, I think Utah should move up a tiny bit. I think a lot of the East in the rankings are going to drop a tiny bit. Columbus is on a pretty bad skid. If they don't win tonight, I think they could drop actually pretty far.
If they don't win tonight, their chances of making the playoffs are probably going to drop a good 15 points.
Yeah, well, if Columbus wins tonight, all of a sudden they're in a playoff spot. Ottawa didn't win, Detroit didn't win, Islanders didn't win. So Columbus wins 1 game, and all of a sudden they're in a playoff, and
it is crazy how much standings are bouncing around based on just one game.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for it to not to be my team and my team just to be happy in the playoffs for once in my life.
I will say Gary Bettman must be so happy right now.
Yes.
He's
I hate it.
Everything he's been doing comes to fruition, which is Gary, retire. You did it. Okay.
I've never said he's he's a smart person. I mean, he's clearly a smart person. His things are going the way he generally wants things to go, but then there's also other times where it's it's staring you in the face. Why aren't you doing this? These people want this.
Another run in Atlanta.
Hey, both of those times, I believe ownership was the issue, not the not to do with the actual location itself.
I know the second time was an ownership issue. It was a massive ownership issue because they, instead of having an individual owner, had a conglomerate, and so no one actually had a majority ownership, more than 50% ownership.
I think there's a few teams right. I think there's a few teams like that right now.
No, the NHL, after the fiasco with the Thrashers, there had to be one person with over 50% ownership. And that guy does not have to be on the board of governors. There has to be one individual with over 50% of ownership because they did not want what happened with the Thrashers. The other issue was that the ownership was also combined with the Hawks, so there were so many different ownership stakes. There's a New York Times article where you just had people either trying to buy each other out or suing each other for control. And in the end, what happened was a few of them agreed on getting control of the Hawks, and they did not care about the Thrashers.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you want to look at like bad ownership stuff, you can just look at what happened over to the Coyotes. They were a team where like they had support. The owner didn't have support, not from the fans, but the team. But there was plenty of support there for the actual team, and the ownership just scammed every single little dollar. Like apparently for the land deal bid, put $0 into marketing, into political marketing for people to vote in favor of that land sale to the company, to the team he owns. Yet the NHL put in something like $2 million or something into that.
I understand Morello is a very unique case in which the NHL wanted to get a owner that was a minority to sort of showcase the what's the word I'm looking for? Diversity. I don't know if that's a good word still, but they wanted to showcase
I think they were just trying to. I think they were just trying to get anyone that they can get at that point.
No. They when Morello came in, they really pushed hard for him to get ownership, and they tried to do a lot, keep him as owner. But they found out that his businesses were not as liquid. Like his cash was not as liquid as other owners. So even the land deal, all that stuff, marketing on getting this proposal pushed through, he just did not have the liquid capital, throw money behind it. Just kind of hoping that NHL and people would do the work. But he made his money.
Yeah, he definitely was able to milk money out of the local community who loved and cared about the team.
Yeah.
It's a shame what happened to them. Well, the NHL should be back soon enough, though.
By, I believe, 2038, I believe they'll go back, or 2034. That's from what I've heard. But
my uneducated guess was 5 years is when the process would probably start.
I mean, doesn't Houston also want a team?
Yeah, I suppose there's some people that have interest, but they haven't actually put together a plan or a bid. The only group, from what I understand, that actually has put together a plan and a bid are one of the two Atlanta groups. I don't think
both
the other
Atlanta
one.
groups.
Both of them now.
The Atlanta group. They have land. They have acquired land.
Okay.
Or they have an agreement with the local municipality on land ownership. And there are hearings going on getting permitted for a sports arena in at least one of the groups.
Yeah, but that's what I think only one of them has submitted a serious plan and bid to the NHL at this point.
No, the NHL has not taken any bids yet. They are waiting for approval for construction. Because the amount of money you spend, because I'm an engineer, I work on these billion-dollar projects. The amount of money you spend on design, permitting, and getting these drawings stamped and approved by the authority having jurisdiction is so small compared to the actual construction cost. So and these are projects that'll take like 3 to 5 years to build, but getting all of that design, like I've been working on projects that have been going on for 6 years on a design phase, so once they start construction, it'll be done in like 2-3 years.
I probably just use wrong word then. I think there's only one of the two groups, from what I understand, is significantly further ahead within the process.
Yes.
With the process with the NHL, for what they're going to see, and they seem to be the front runners for it, from what I understand.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you cannot put shovels into the ground until you get that.
Oh, I'm aware.
IFC.
That I'm very very much aware with.
Okay, so my understanding is these two groups, they have competing bids and competing different locations, but whichever group can get their shovels in the ground first, the NHL will get their shovels or get the approval to put their shovels in the ground. The NHL is going to go with that bid.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
there's a bit of a race to get that done.
And we know rushing things left and right for when it comes to physical infrastructure and ownership plans is totally the best thing that could possibly happen.
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, the Seattle expansion took 3 years for construction, and they were ready opening day.
Well, they also started with an existing arena that they just had to essentially tear everything down but the roof for, but they had part of that was already just settled for them to begin with.
No, they had to support the roof with cranes.
Yes.
Oh, no, I understand that. I'm just the location was
I'm
already
working on
picked.
a job right now that is you have to hold up a historical wall which goes across 2 city blocks. They have to build behind it, and then they're gonna have to essentially lay the wall back on the front.
Yep.
It is a pain.
It was very cool to watch, though.
Yes, but it is very much a pain to get done, because once something is just labeled as a historical monument or an object of historical significance in the area, you basically can't touch it. You can't do anything to damage it. Otherwise, you as a construction company gets hit with a huge fine.
And then the liability to fix that damage.
Yeah, so I think what he's saying is, like, Seattle could have even gotten it done a little quicker if they didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, it probably would have taken them 2 years. So the last item I would like to discuss, Ovechkin's retirement. My sources are telling me that this is his final season, and it's not just one, not two, now it's 3 separate sources. They're telling me this is Ovechkin's final season, and the announcement is expected to be made April 8th.
April 8th. All right, well, we're going to find out if you were right.
Pretty damn quick.
Yeah, I believe it at when TNT pulled the Capitals off their national broadcast, the Capitals were not happy, but April 8th is what I am being told. And as someone who saw Ovechkin my senior year of high school, he was a rookie, to now, it's been more than half my life, which is crazy to think about.
The Capitals are playing the Leafs that day too.
Yep, it is going to be nationally broadcast in Toronto or in Canada, because the Wednesday at Hockey Night.
Well, kind of every game in Canada is nationally broadcast, but that's a different thing.
Well, we can talk about the TV contract stuff later. But
aren't they
Right.
fun?
I think it is, but you have to pay for 5 separate channels.
I feel like you got to do that here in the U.S. too.
It's interesting because Kopitar did the world
Announced it.
the announcement and the tour, basically the retirement tour with every team, and Obi has kept it largely quiet, which is
Yeah, there was a bit of that with Fleury, and same thing with Chara as well.
yeah. I mean, we have seen Ovi exchanging jerseys and sticks quite a bit this season.
He's said that he's done it every single year, though, to some extent. It just might not be as public as it would be otherwise. Like obviously the Sorokin stick over to Ovechkin. It's obviously that was a bigger, more media deal because of the record-breaking goal, but from what I understand, he does that like every other game, supposedly.
Okay. So, what I know from I was at an expo recently,
Mm-hmm.
and my understanding is Ovi is keeping all of his jerseys that he scores a goal in.
Supposedly, I remember hearing rumors that it was the same thing where 60 scores a goal with.
Where? Who scores a goal?
When Ovechkin scores a goal with a stick, he gets a new stick and keeps that one.
Yeah, he takes the stick, gets his teammates to sign. The teammates that assisted on it to sign on it, and then, yeah. He's been keeping all of his goals as well.
So you're telling me he's got a warehouse or a room somewhere in his house with 928 sticks?
Not only 928 sticks, but also sticks from other players. So he's got sticks from like Gretzky, Yager.
It actually would be more like 1,000 sticks at this point because that 928 was regular season.
Right, playoffs. Yeah.
Does he have any like goalie equipment, like goalie sticks?
Well, he has Sorokin's stick, for example.
Sorokin's stick and blocker. I think he has a Lundqvist stick, if I'm not mistaken. And then, there was a article a few years back where they went into his basement and it's just like hockey stick heaven, where it's like going from wall to wall, and then it's going into his workout room, like where his gym is. There's like sticks along the glass over there. They have he has mirrors in his where he works out in the basement, and it's just kind of covered in sticks. It's running next to each other.
His retirement plan must be to take every single liquid dollar cash he has, goes to Vegas, put all on black, and if he wins, if he wins, he's buying a country. If he loses, he's selling his equipment as his retirement plan for the rest of his life, slowly as he needs cash.
So I looked up an article because I was like, okay, I want to try and find this image of like all these sticks, and apparently he's shipped a lot of it to Russia for his museum.
I heard about that
for Russia, like Ovechkin's museum.
He's got an Alexander Ovechkin museum. Wow. So
That
goes
is
without saying.
to open next year.
Well,
2027, the museum is opening in Russia, from what I have read. So that should give you a good timeline of.
I wonder if that museum's gonna have stuff for like his parents in there as well, because his parents were famous Soviet athletes as well.
Right.
I don't know. It's his museum. I don't have contacts in Russia. I just.
I know one thing for sure, and I would not be welcome there.
But the expected year that's going to open is 2027, and even if he's moving his stuff there now, it makes sense.
That does line up because he wanted to do 1 year in the KHL, right?
It could be multiple.
Backstrom did 1 year in the SHL. So
he just goes there and buys was it SK St. Petersburg or whatever it is, SK St. Petersburg.
Well,
he Dynamo Moscow.
Yeah, Dynamo Moscow.
I think the Russian government has their fingers completely deep in that team, so I don't think it would be that team. Though supposedly the Beijing Red Stars apparently moved to the Moscow suburbs because that team's no longer a thing anymore. And so maybe I'll get that team.
Kunlun. It's Kunlun Red Stars.
Sorry, but still, my point being is I think I heard that team's now a Moscow team, and they're just two Moscow teams now. So maybe we'll get ownership of that one.
Well, finishing on my thoughts with Ovechkin.
Yeah, sorry.
I remember the first time I saw him in person playing. He ended up scoring his 20th goal of his career. And it's really wild that now he comes back, and I've seen him essentially score over 900 goals since then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what was his last goal? The Philly game. I saw him score 928 against Philly. No point as a child did I think this guy, not even a child, as a teenager, where I was like, this guy's going to score 900 plus goals. Something never to have been done in the NHL.
Well, you can't say never it have been done. Because it had been done.
Yeah, but
there was someone's record he had to break to do it.
Yep.
Yes. Gretzky never got 900 in a regular season.
I don't think anyone's ever gotten 900 goals in a season to begin with.
A regular season total. Sorry.
9 Rocket Richards. Obviously, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
How many hearts does he have? 3?
Regard-
I think
3 hearts, 3 Pearsons.
just to keep the parallel between the two of them together, I think even if Ovechkin might technically be eligible 1 year sooner, him and Crosby should go into the Hall of Fame together. Same time.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know it's probably not going to happen, but I know it'd be fitting.
Because the Hockey Hall of Fame is full of fossils and yada yada yada.
Ovi is actually interesting story. Ovi, despite them being drafted 1 year apart, Ovi is roughly 23 months older than Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
So it also gives you a timeline of Crosby. Ovi's 40 now. Crosby's 38.
Yeah.
38.
Okay, if Crosby plays 1 more year in the NHL and Ovechkin plays one more year in the KHL, plays the last year in KHL, well, that could have them retire at the same time, and well, there's the minimum 5 years after you retire from playing before you can go into the Hall of Fame. That's why Yager is not there yet, because well, he's still technically playing.
Yeah. Oh, another interesting story about Ovechkin. So. You're an Islanders fan. How many years did Mike Bossy score 30-plus goals?
He did that every single year of his career, and his career was like 11 seasons.
10 seasons.
10 seasons. Okay. Hey, you're talking about things before my time, so the fact to be able to remember some of that is still impressive enough.
Oh, I have Ovechkin's goal when he scored his 30th goal in his 11th season. Past Bossy for consecutive 30-goal seasons.
Very cool.
Yeah. Just looking at the math, someone would have to score 50 goals over 18 seasons. Ooh. Catch up to OV.
I mean, Bossy's entire career, though, was like cut short with like chronic back pain. It's just... It's he did not want to play. No, though there was a possibility his contract was expired, hadn't announced his retirement yet, he would then go to announce it a few weeks later. But he got a call from a general manager from a certain West Coast team and said, "Would you like to play on Gretzky's wing?" He said no.
Oof.
So the Kings had just made the deal, or was just about to make the deal, I think, to acquire Gretzky from Edmonton. And Bossy was one of the few people that knew. I don't know, maybe a few hours, maybe a day or two before that news got announced. And he was given the offer to sign with them as well to play on his wing. He said no.
All right, it is. We've been live for a while, so let's wrap it up here.
Yep. Yeah, we've been recording for now an hour and 38. Just to mention the PWHL, they're about to have arguably their biggest game of the season, could be potentially their biggest game ever for impact-wise, for drawing people in, happening in Madison Square Garden at 8 p.m. tonight. So I'm about to go dig up my original first ever jersey from the first ever Sirens home game. Though back then they were called PWHL New York. I have a few drinks and head on down there. And any of you guys have anything interesting hockey related coming up?
I'm essentially going to OV's last home game.
Oh,
very cool. I'm hoping that the Kings beat the Leafs, and
Hockey's kind of over here in Nova Scotia. Blue Sets aren't really doing anything. We did have the college hockey playoff, or the university hockey playoff, which I went to, which was exciting. But I'm just looking to watch the Bolts' final regular season games and hope that they can do another cup run, because obviously the cup goes through Florida, right?
And the only way I think that happens is if it's against the Islanders in the Eastern Conference Finals. But we'll see what happens there.
All right.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Keep. Thank you all for listening.